Good evening from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Thursday, March the 4th market update. On the economic front, the weekly jobless claims came in a little better than expected at 469,000. Forecast was 475,000. Productivity and cost came in at 6.9%. The forecast was for 6.3%. U.S. pending home sales index was down 7.6% to 90.4. The prior report was 96.6, but they blamed it on the bad weather, which we did have a lot of bad weather. And then the nat gas report showed a drawdown of 116 billion cubic feet. The prior drawdown prior week was 172 billion cubic feet, and they proceed to continue to sell off UNG. So on deck for tomorrow is the monthly biggie, the employment situation, non-farm payrolls. So we'll be watching that in the morning. And the dollar was up today. Gold, silver, copper, and oil were all down. Everything reversed from what it was yesterday. So we look at the UUP here. We're still in between these two levels, hanging out here. MACD's kind of curled down here a little bit. We are above the 30 and the 50 here on the dollar, but it doesn't seem like it's really going anywhere fast. Light sweet crude futures were down 66 cents today to settle at $80.21 a barrel. Let's go over to the West Texas Intermediate Crude chart. And we're still right here in this area. We haven't gone anywhere. So we printed that 81, and now we're still kind of just sitting there. Let's go over, take a look at the Dow. So the Dow closed up 47 points today, believe it or not, as it kind of grinded around all day long today, a little up, a little down, and then finally gained some ground near the close. So it was up 47 points to 10,444. The S&P closed up 4 points to 1,122. The Nasdaq closed up 11 points to 2292, and the Russell closed up 3 points to 652. Nasdaq was the largest percent gainer, up 0.51%, and the S&P had the smallest percent gain, up 0.37%. So the volume across the indices was very, very light today. I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for the non-farm payrolls number tomorrow. And of course, all the indices, the Dow, S&P, Nasdaq, Russell, are still above their 50-day moving average. So looking at the Dow, we broke out of this bull flag. Now we're just setting up here. At least today, this candle is definitely a little more bullish than these two kind of shooting star looking candles. So at least I was afraid we were going to get 3 in a row, which I would have assumed we were going to roll over if we got 3 of these in a row. But so it's not looking too bad. The MACD's pointing up. SP's the same way. The S&P is the same way. MACD's kind of curling up. These gold lines are on my 60-minute chart. Still trying to get over this 1,125 area. Let's go to the 60-minute. We've been watching this area here where I talked about this inverted head and shoulders. We come down here and touched it. Went up to the 1,125 area, came down and touched it, and we've been hanging around here, and then actually got a little bit here today. So right now, the MACD did, make a little lower here than it did over here. So I'm not sure if we're going to get a little pullback, or I think it just depends on the number tomorrow. I still think eventually we're going to get up here, but not sure how long it's going to take us to get there. Let's look at XLF, see what it looks like. It's doing well. Financials were up today. I think Goldman Sachs broke out of this $60 area that's been resistance, should become new support. So you might want to watch Goldman Sachs. Gold's looking good. Gold's just hanging out, very light volume. They had no interest in selling their GLD today. SLV, the ETF, silver ETF, again, very, very low volume. No interest in selling it. Silver still looks good for some higher prices. The VIX, we talked about getting a bounce down here. And we're about there, and we really haven't gotten much of nothing yet, but it has kind of slowed its descent here. And let's look at copper. Whoops. Copper real quick. The copper ETF, JJC. So we had this nice V-shaped reversal here on copper. Went up here. Now we've touched it. The backside of this, what was the downtrend line. And volume picked up today, but the MACD's looking pretty good. And I hate it when the phone rings when I'm on here. And it does it almost every day. I guess I need to unplug it. So copper's looking okay. I don't know if it's going to roll over or not. I mean, this here is higher than over here, which looks pretty bullish. Let's go to the sectors. 9 of the 16 sectors to follow finished in the green today. The internet index had the larger percent gain, up 1.64%. Gold index was the weakest, down 1.54%. And those are the sectors we follow. Gold, home construction was kind of weak. All this up. Retail did well today. So let's go over to our chart watch. I do have a few new things I've added, and then I've got some old stuff that still looks good. Buckle had this big triangle, tons of volume popped in today. Retail has kind of all been getting bid here. Everyone wants retail now. So BKE looks good for some higher prices. This little Central European media broke out today on some really good volume. You might want to keep that one on your radar. Sienna broke out of a ascending triangle today with tons of volume. Might want to keep that one on your radar. J. Crew, big move up today. Broke higher with volume. So it's looking good. Group 1 Automotive, watch this triangle here. Tons of volume here. See if this is resistance or if it's going to break through there. It's already gone a long way, so it may come back here, but it's looking like it will go higher, so keep GPI on your radar. RTI International broke out here, just sitting right there. It looks good for some higher prices, has a good MACD that's rising. This thing is Arvimator, however you say it. So come down here, it's had some resistance up here in this level. You know, broke out here is where it broke out, and there's tons and tons of volume, and it's resting right here. So watch it for a move higher. P-Sun, little retailer, Pacific Sunwear. You know, it sold off. Now it's filled this gap. It's already filled the gap, pulled back, and now it broke out today on higher volume. Like I said, they want retail right now. It's the place to be. Fuel Tech looking pretty good. It's above its bearish downtrend line. It broke out here. It's trying to go higher. It had earnings right here and it went higher. So I don't know. Keep that on your list as well. And then the rest of these we've looked at. Royal Bank is still kind of sitting there after it broke out. Still looks good. CTB, Cooper Tire, still looking fine. They tried to sell it off today and then had a kind of a dragonfly doji, so that looks good for some higher prices. DeVry's looking good to go higher. CTCM still watching it, still hanging all right, still looking all right. SQM still like the little triangle it's in, so watch for it to break out. Pot's still in a nice tight little consolidation, still looks good, so watch for a breakout. This LCRD, if we have some nice volume, it'll in a nice upward market, it'll probably take off higher, still looking good. SLB still looks good, it's holding that support area. Stephen Madden still looks good, tight little consolidation after it broke out. Stanley Works still look good, tight consolidation for some higher prices. Nike, tight consolidation. NetLogic still looking good. Bounced off its support area today. VPrint still hanging tough, tight consolidation after its breakout. BEAV still looks good. Win still looks fine. Low volume today when it pulled back a little bit. Amazon looks good. ACTG still looks fine. Had low volume on the pullback today. ISIL had that dragonfly type doji today. Wants to go higher. And Quicksilver still looks good. So watch it, see if it makes a lower high here though. Still looks fine. Let's go to current market signals. Follow the point and figure charts for the Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P. All three are buy signals. No changes here. Oh, I was going to look at McClellan. We'll look at McClellan real quick. So it has, you know, the slow markets has pulled it down a little bit. So we're still 52 is not very overbought. So we really could go either way here. I was going to show you the Nasdaq. When we get to 2,330, which we're not all that far from, we'll have a quadruple breakout on the Nasdaq. So watch this 2,330 on the Nasdaq, because here's where our prior resistance was. So this area of 2320, 23 430 should be strong resistance, but we've hit it enough times that we should break through it this time, you would think. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.